Alpha Condé prefers to die than resign as Guinea's president. The Gambia's Health Ministry presents first batch of community ambulances. And restaurant businesses in Kabul expected to recover after the transition. This and more coming on the wall today. Hello, and this is the World Today newscast with me, Mariama Cham. Thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. The Guinean President Alpha Condé, who has been captured by the military, revealed that he would rather be killed than resign from office, as Guinean local media reported on Tuesday. Mr. Condé made these remarks at his detention center during a meeting with the ECOWAS delegation. Amanda tells us more.
It's been a week since the military staged a coup in Conakry, capturing their interim president and detained him at the headquarters of their special forces. The coup d'etat, headed by Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, then dissolved the parliament, closed the country's borders, and abrogated the national constitution. In response to the mutiny, the economic country of West African states has excluded Guinea from the organization, demanding the release of the president. However, following Condé's conversation with the ECOWAS delegation, a local media in Guinea-Conakry revealed that Condé said he would rather be killed than to resign from office. The Guinean president, who is still detained at the special forces of the military, is believed to have everything there, but has no access to his phones and the radio. Reports have also shown that the television which he was able to watch was later taken away from him because, according to his guards, he used to be angry when he sees Lieutenant Colonel Doumbouya on the screen, and that affects his state of health. Alpha Condé won a controversial third term in October after amending the constitution to allow him to run again despite violent protests from the opposition. Guinea-Conakry, with a population of over 12 million people, is a coastal country in West Africa that gained independence on 2nd October 1958 under French name Guinea. Amendao, 4i Africa News.
Alpha Condé told ECOWAS that he would rather die than resign as Guinea's president. Now, the Ministry of Health on Monday presented at least 20 feet of community ambulances at an event held at the I-22 in Banjul. Presiding over the presentation, President Barrow says the community ambulances will enable patients to reach health facilities earlier, thereby saving their lives. Amanda again.
The Ministry of Health appears to be on a high gear of creating more access to healthcare facilities for the people of the country. Presenting the first 20 community ambulances, President Barrow believes that the initiative will go a long way in saving the lives of the people.
This was a promise to the community that we will start community ambulancing in this country for the first time in the history of this country, because we see the need to support the community. And mostly, traditionally, ambulances are stationed at the health centers. They are not within the communities. So we said now we should have community ambulances so that the ambulances will be within the community, so that they can have access and quick reaction also to save the life of the people.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Lamin Samate, dilated on the importance of the ambulances as they will be situated in various communities.
What we want to do about it is to make sure that these ambulances are situated in the communities, so that when there is a woman who is in labor or a very sick person who needs to go to the hospital, this ambulance will go to their home, to their doorstep, and pick that person up from the home to a health facility. This is a game changer in the health sector. This is a game changer in our strategies to reduce maternal mortality, under 5 mortality, and to reduce morbidity and mortality in the whole of this country.
The health minister further assured in getting more facilities in the health sector in the next couple of months.
We are equally constructing 11 ambulance sites along the highways. for rapid response if there is an accident, so that these people are taken to health facilities on time by calling a unique number for the first time in the history of this country. We are buying equipment. We are training people. We are training doctors and nurses. We are buying consumables. I think the health sector is doing well. Not because we are in the health sector, but we are doing a whole lot. So in the next couple of months, we will see remarkable, impactful steps have been taken in the health sector.
The remaining 60 ambulances are all expected to be in the country by November of this year. Meanwhile, the demand for high-quality health services in the region has grown rapidly as the country's medical care struggles behind the required standards. However, during President Barrow's 5th State of Nation address, he announced his government's plan in constructing a new emergency treatment center in Farato, which will be furnished with 104 beds and 20 fully equipped intensive care units to cater for the needs of the population. Amin Dao for iAfrica News.
Gambia's health ministry there presented 20 ambulances meant for the community hospitals. Now the hike in the prices of petroleum gas known as cooking gas has forced many Nigerians to go back to the traditional method of cooking. A local street vendor and mother of 5 says he can no longer afford the expensive gas cylinder. The price of a 12.5 kg cylinder of cooking gas jumped to over 6,000 naira in some parts of Lagos, drawing bitter complaints from domestic consumers. Details of that in this report.
It's almost dinner time at the Danjuma home, and 42-year-old mother of 5, Abigail Danjuma, struggles to flame up the firewood for her cooking, an alternative to which she's resorted owing to the soaring price of cooking gas. A 12.5 kilogram cylinder of cooking gas rose from 3,200 naira in August of 2020 to an average 6,000 naira now. For families like Abigail Danjuma's, cooking gas has become a luxury they can no longer afford.
Using gas. The price of gas has doubled. We can't even afford to refill our cylinders. That's why we choose other cooking alternatives. We usually buy for 200 naira, which lasts for several days. However, the challenges of using firewood is the smoke which chokes us and makes us cough. It also affects my eyes.
Over 90 million of Nigeria's 200 million strong population live below the poverty line of $1 a day. It's exacerbated by the COVID-induced unemployment, rising inflation, among other factors, leaving many like Abigail with cooking options that put them at risk of falling sick.
The lungs have their own defense mechanism. They tend to have a way of bringing out sputum, which we cough out, and clearing the airway. When someone has inhaled smoke for a long time, this defense mechanism of the lungs tend to be reduced, and so the person is more susceptible to viruses and bacterial infections of the lungs. So even though we've not yet done studies, but we can say that it could worsen the effects of corona for people who get exposed to the virus, or it could also, make people more susceptible.
Aside the health hazards, the environmental safety is also being threatened.
One of the major causes of climate change, that is the use of firewood. Any country that depends solely on firewood for energy is actually causing danger to its citizens and to its own environment. When you pollute the environment with smoke, it rises, it depletes the ozone layer, and exposes us to more dangerous rays, from the skies. It also depletes the soil fertility because the topsoil is burnt off through this unregulated burning of either trees or bushes. And since the soil is threatened, you see that even the fertility of the soil is compromised.
Gas marketers, in a statement, attributed the rising cost of the commodity to the government's reimposition of VAT on imports. Nigeria produces only 40% of its total gas consumption. The rest is imported. But the government says it's rolling out an elaborate plan to boost the use of gas from 5% to 90% over the next 10 years. It's a plan that would steer people away from the use of harmful cooking fuels to more efficient and cleaner energy sources.
Some Nigerians there back to the traditional cooking method as prices of petroleum gas known as cooking gas skyrocketed. Now some commercial drivers in the Gambia have embarked on a sit-down strike following the postponement of Monday's scheduled sit-down strike by the country's transport union. More of that in this report by Usman Jatta.
Commercial drivers across the length and breadth of the Gambia were supposed to go on strike following the demands made by the country's transport union for the government to increase transport fares, equally as well provide car parks for drivers, plus the reduction of taxes at the Senegambia Bridge. However, most drivers are observing the strikes as the news of the postponement came late.
Commuters wait patiently for the arrival of limited number of commercial vehicles to be able to reach their destinations. Lamin Kamara is among the commercial drivers who choose to observe the sit-down strike.
It's expensive. $57. A liter of fuel costs $57. The second issue is that we spend hours on the highway. Taxi drivers from Senegambia heading towards traffic lights sometimes spend 2 hours on the highway. At the end of the day, you have to buy fuel and you need to feed your family. So it is like we are working for the petrol stations. To be candid enough, the drivers are not happy with the sit-down strike.
Drivers have long been lamenting about the spike of fuel prices coupled with the country's heavy traffic. Lamin Sise and Mustafa Suso both are among the administrators of the Bakau Bakwe garage in Westville.
Gambia fi lu nekk yokkoon benn driver yi dafa yàgg lool depuis baba toogangu ci dëkk bi pass fu mu nekkoon ba léegi foofu la nekk yokkoon nañ ko ñu wàññi gas ñu wàññi waat pass.
The price of every commodity has increased in the Gambia, except for the fares of drivers. Since 2016, the tariff of fares has not changed. The price of gas oil has risen 8 times, and the fares were still the same. I believe both the drivers and the people are exposed to the same high cost of living in the country. When we visit markets, we all purchase goods with the same amount. If the fares remain the same, what are we going to save for our livelihood? Let the government assist the drivers. Let them know that the drivers are here for the people.
Kon driver lu muy am suma ci loolu la am ba léegi kon su yàggee driver lu muy denc ci poosam lu muy dina leen njabootam soo gisee driver yi dañoo ëpp ñu waajee client ñu ngay jël ñu waajee client ay dog ba ñetti yoon xam naa naka garas la.
The reason behind the breakdown of fares by commercial drivers from one point to another is as a result of the lack of garages. If there are garages, the breakdown of fares will no longer exist because every garage will have its fixed price.
The president of the Gambia Transport Union, Omar Sise, has received widespread criticism following the transport union's postponement of Monday's sit-down strike.
We haven't discussed on the last few weeks. We agree on few points, but the rest we don't agree until yesterday night. We have dissolved the Security Council.
The union has published a press release of their agreement with the government. The release states a special task force consisting of relevant stakeholders and officials of the Gambia Transport Union will be set to review the proposed fare tariffs with a view to introducing a much reasonable commuter fare system that will serve both the interests of the commuters and the drivers. Some people believe in order to avoid future sit-down strikes by commercial drivers, the government has to address the country's transport challenges. The construction of an improved highway coupled with the establishment of proper garages could be a step towards addressing the plight of drivers. Usman Jatta, iAfrica News.
That report by Usman Jatta on drivers embarking on a sit-down strike despite its postponement will take us to a quick break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the news on the wall today. Stay tuned.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3 and 4 bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Old Yundum.
CAF Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and present in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office and retail towers in the Gambia called TAF Twins. The TAF Twins is located in the heart of the Kanifing institutional area and 10 minutes drive away from Banjul. TAF Twins is designed to have 5 floors of office spaces ranging from 50 square meters to over 1,000 square meters with 2 elevators, central air conditioning, 24 hours electricity and water supply, with the ground floor reserved for banking, supermarket, restaurant and coffee shop. For your bookings and reservations, please call now on 376-2333 or 776-2333. Thank you.
Welcome back from that break, and you're still watching the World Today News. Now, life has returned to normal in many parts of Kabul days after the Taliban took control of the Afghan capital. Social and economic normalcy is crawling back to Afghanistan after a power transition took place. The Kabul restaurants are back on operations after a month of disorder and chaos. More of that in this report.
The power shift in Afghanistan has affected many aspects of local life. Kabul was famous for restaurants serving local and international cuisines. The impact was considerable in the first few days after the Taliban's takeover.
Previously, we used to sell 60 to 70 kilograms of meat per day. Now that has dropped to 30 to 40 kilograms. Our business has dropped by half. Whenever we ask someone, they don't have money. Money is stuck in banks. There was no business during the initial days after the regime change. Now it has gotten a little better.
The quality and prices of food in restaurants have been minimally impacted. The customers are satisfied with the services, but the overall economic situation and uncertainties don't allow many to dine out.
No, there is no change in the prices. Prices are the same, and so are the services. Everything is the same as before, only the bazaar has slowed down. Hopefully it gets better. Yes, I don't come frequently now because most of the people have no steady source of income that allows them to visit restaurants, to eat, and enjoy the company of family and friends.
Government officials, bank employees and NGO workers were the main customers at restaurants. Since the Taliban takeover, many of them have stopped going to their offices. Still, restaurant owners are hopeful that the situation will get back to normal once people get back to their jobs and banks start normal operations.
Now about 30% of customers come to eat here. In front of our restaurant there are banks, offices and directorates. Now their employees don't come. They're either at home or have left the country.
Local businesses are the backbone of metropolitan economies. Fear of an economic crisis in an uncertain future has cast a cloud over their operation. but the situation has gradually improved since the change of regime. Many are hopeful that a resumption of the overall economy will make things better.
Life in Afghanistan, they're returning back to normalcy after the transition. Now, Zimbabwe is experiencing a power shortfall due to generation constraints at Wange Thermal Power Station. This prompted the Electricity Transmission and Distribution Company to begin a daily 12-hour power cuts due to limited generation at its thermal plant. The power shortfall is being managed through load shedding in order to balance the power supply available and the connected road. This and more in this report.
Zimbabwe's Electricity Transmission and Distribution Company says generation challenges at the Wange Thermal Power Plant and rehabilitation work to the Kariba Dam wall, where there is a hydropower plant, have caused an electricity shortfall which it is trying to manage through these lengthy power cuts. Zimbabwe requires about 2,100 megawatts of electricity per day, but is only generating between 1,200 and 1,300. It relies on imports from neighboring South Africa and Mozambique to bridge the deficit. Businesses, industries and farms will not be spared from the latest rounds of power cuts and fear that it could scuttle their efforts to rebound from the COVID-19 crisis.
Technically, we remain in a different kind of lockdown, but the lockdown we're having now, it could be non-COVID related lockdown, which is electricity challenge. So that alone can tell you that we are in for a long haul as business, and it's impacting definitely in terms of our production, especially from the manufacturing side. But with power shortages, what it means therefore is shifts are limited, some of the costs are fixed and you can't avoid them, and that will eat onto the bottom line of most of the companies in the country.
Zimbabwe's long-running energy crisis has been worsened by aging power plants which often break down, and so new power projects are desperately needed to meet increasing demand. An upgrade of the main thermal power plant in Wange, which will increase generation capacity by 600 megawatts, is currently underway. Several independent power producers have had their solar and mini hydropower projects approved. Major thermal power plants are also on the cards, but are long-term in nature and are only expected to start producing electricity in 2023.
Zimbabwe there on a daily 12-hour power cuts due to limited generation at its thermal plant, as it is being managed through load shedding in order to balance the power supply. Now this will bring us to the end of the World Today newscast. I am your presenter Mariama Cham. Thanks for your company and goodbye for now.
Welcome to Staples, the office superstore for all your office needs, office furnitures, office equipment, office kitchenwares, office stationery. Get all you need for your workplace. Office desks, chairs, workstation, conference table, computers, printers, monitors, sofas, filing cabinets, water dispensers, microwaves, ovens, air coolers, and lots more. Staples, the best superstore in the Gambia.
Star GSM has new arrivals of home appliances with 2 years warranty and a promotion on 2-way gas cooker, gas or electric, at a cost of $10,000, which used to be $17,000, and a deeper freezer $10,000, which used to be $15,000. Stand fans rechargeable
and at least for 8 hours, different stand freezers, deep freezers from 140 to 400 liters, blenders, original flat screens from 32 inches to 65 inches. At Star GSM, their appliances are original, durable, modern, and energy saving. Star GSM also have sports shoes, Timberland, and Scandals, original perfumes from India, Churai and Andy Churai from Dubai. Star GSM offer its customers 25% discount on all smartphones, simple phones and HD receivers for national security forces, police, paramilitary, immigration, armed forces, customs, navy, etc. They also have maize powder, Dugula, at $900 per bag or $100 per kilo. Roast now and visit Star GSM at Westfield, opposite OJ Junction, Talindi Market, Tabokoto Traffic Light, or call 700-2494. Star GSM Electronics.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details, are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3 and 4 bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Old Yundum.
My name is Jatumbai. I am the founder of JT's Creation. JT's is a woman-owned business that specializes in the design and production of casual wears, footwears and bags. We also engage in the recycling of plastics, wine bottles, calabash and coconut shells and transform them into elegant interior decor and accessories. I chose this type of business because there was a gap in the market for African products. So that is why I ventured into it. So I thought that if I come with the idea of recycling, I'll be able to save time and also energy and also environmentally friendly. It have helped me, pay my school bills, my school fees. It has made me, employed girls that were staying, just sitting at home, not doing anything. So at least it's a plus to me. The Turkey Fee have given me a lot of support this year because they have given me a free store at the International Trade Fair Gambia. So this alone have given me brand awareness and a lot of visibility. And also the main one is sales. Besides that, I've been attending a lot of trainings through Turkey Fee, and also they have given me the chance, ITC, to train women in upcountry on craft production. I believe that I can take a fee, and I believe that I already take a fee.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriMoney just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be 10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to 30,000. Meaning, your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
The Gambia has launched a national COVID-19 vaccination campaign by the Ministry of Health and supported by various partners using the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Health workers first received the vaccine, followed by other groups based on their health risks and the supply of vaccines over time. This COVID-19 vaccine has been approved by the World Health Organization, WHO, for people aged 18 and above. Each person should receive 2 doses of the vaccine, with the second dose coming no time later than 12 weeks after the first. The most common side effects are pain at the injection site and flu-like symptoms for up to 48 hours after injection. Serious reactions are very rare. We must continue wearing our clean masks, washing our hands frequently, maintaining physical distance, and limiting time we spend in crowded and enclosed spaces. The vaccine is safe and can help us get closer to ending the pandemic. For more information, please call 1025 from any network in the Gambia, free of charge.
This message is brought to you by the Gambia Red Cross Society and funded by the European Union.
CAF Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and present in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office and retail towers in the Gambia called TAF Twins. The TAF Twins is located in the heart of the Kanifing institutional area and 10 minutes drive away from Banjul. TAF Twins is designed to have 5 floors of office spaces ranging from 50 square meters to over 1,000 square meters with 2 elevators, central air conditioning, 24 hours electricity and water supply, with the ground floor reserved for banking, supermarket, restaurant and coffee shop. For your bookings and reservations, please call now on 376-2333 or 776-2333. Thank you.
They say we slept in one world and woke up in another. This global tragedy got humans together despite our social distancing. Our nature is taking a break. And giving us a wake-up call on what and who truly matters. Look around you. Hold on. Breathe. Count your blessings. Take time for self-renewal, for a better start tomorrow. Soon, life will be back. Meanwhile, let's stand apart together with one heart.
Hello, good evening from our studios in Banjul. It's another Tuesday, and of course, welcome to another Police Show talk show right here on Africa TV. And we are very much happy to be back again this evening to talk about security matters this country, as we always do on every Tuesday. And yeah, it's always good to be here to talk about some very pertinent issues in the country as far as security matters, country and other activities related to the police as well. So as always, you know, we are here with the Gambia Police Force, and as always is the police spokesman, that's the police PR, who is here to take us through on all the development that we need to know as far as security is concerned. So wherever you are in and around the country, thank you so very much for joining us. mbokk ñu ngi leen di nuyu beneen yoon fii ci Africa TV ñu man mbégte dellusiwaat tey bu baax a baax di beneen talaata comme ni ñu koy baaxoo di defee saa su ne bu juróom benn waxtu jotee ci kër gi ñu ñëw ñu waxtaan ak yéen ci li nga xamante ne mooy wàllu kaaraange ci réew mi mu nekk li nga xamante ne mooy police talk show bi. xam ngeen ne loolu def nekk li am solo te ñu ciy àndal ñi nga xamante ne mooy Gambia Police Force ñu nekk ñi nga xamante ñoom ñoo yore wàllu kaaraange ci réew mi ci noonu tey ñu fas yéene waxtaan ci beneen point wala ponk bu am solo ci li nga xamante ne dafa soxal réew mi mu nekkal tamit lu xew te tamit ñu jàpp ne luñ jar a mën a waxtaanee la ci programme bi. kon ni ñu ko defee saa su ne ci programme bi ñu see àndal ki nga xamante ne moom moo yore kàddu police bi di superintendent Lamine Ndiaye te tamit moom la ñu ànd ak ci jotaay bi incha allah ñu war cee waxtaan lu am solo tey nag ci jotaay bi comme ni ñu koy defee la ci réew mi ñu waxtaan ko tey ci wàllum li nga xamante ne mooy jamante wala gaañante yi nga xamante ne mu ngi xew ci réew mi te ndaw yi fes ci lool. ñu jàpp ne war nañ cee def taxaw seetlu waxtaanee ko ci réew mi tey ponk boobu lañ indi xam naa nag dina am solo bu baax tamit ci kanam ñu bokk waxtaan bi ak yéen ñu déggee ci yéen comme ni ñu koy defee bu ñu ubbee ci line bi line si ngeen mun a call waaye laataa ñu see sori rek ñu dal di dalal ki nga xamante ne mooy Mr Piaro di superintendent Lamine Ndiaye mu nuyoo ñu soog a ñu dugg ci biir programme bi. Mr Piaro, it's another Tuesday and good evening and thank you so very much for joining us, and it's good to have you back again to talk about some very important security matters in the country.
Thank you so much, Amadou. Greetings to you again as we are back into the program again to continue discussions. It's like we want to start with paying respect to the viewers and followers of this important program and to all viewers of the iAfrica television. And in fact, to extend greetings from the Office of the Inspector General of Police and Deputy Inspector General of Police and the police senior management, to all, specifically the iAfrica TV, and also to all the viewers and followers of the iAfrica TV, particularly those people who follow this important program. Like you have said, today we will continue the discussion from where we stopped. Of course, this is a continuation, even though the topics may differ a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because it's very important that when we have critical issues of security concerns, it's good that we bring them up and discuss them.
Certainly.
Of course, like you have said, this topic perhaps we have discussed it some time ago, and so again we are coming back again to talk about it because it is definitely concerning.
Absolutely.
And so that's why we'll have to continue talking about it.
Indeed.
Hopefully people will listen, hopefully some minds and hearts will be changed, and hopefully the information will be disseminated so that we will have a society free from one-on-one violence, knife crime and stabbing incidents.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so very much, Mr. Piaro. And by the way, like you said, iAfrica TV is always and very much committed to discuss and also partnering with the Gambia Police Force in making sure that the public is aware and informed in how some of these crimes can be coped in our societies. So we are talking about stabbing, community stabbing, if you like. It's becoming very prevalent in this country nowadays. Of course, like Piaro said some time ago, we have discussed about it. For one reason or the other, it has, of course, died down somehow, one can say. But recently, it has been again coming up and happening frequently in different parts of the country. And it is for that reason why we want to bring back the topic and discuss it with you, the Gambian people. And that is why we are here again this morning. Also, of course, this evening, I should say, I'm carried away by the Good Morning Africa program. But then, let's go straight to the discussion, Mr. Njai. I know, of course, we would later on, of course, switch in the local language as we always do. But then, here again, we are talking about a very delicate issue, a very sensitive matter. Community stabbing. Mostly young people are involved. But before, of course, we probably go more detail into the topic itself, just bring us up to speed on the latest occurrences of stabbings in the communities.
Very well. In recent time, just to recall, we've few days ago, I think on the 8th of this month, we've received reports about the stabbing of the young auditor at the National Audit Office. The incident happened around the Palmarima beach area, where some individuals came out in order to rob him from his properties. They have decided to attack and stab him multiple times, and that resulted to his demise.
Which was very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, of course. And so they flee the scene and left, and so eventually this individual was rushed to the hospital and he was pronounced dead. And the police did investigate into that case swiftly, and so even though the perpetrators left the scene, they have fled to different areas of that vicinity. Investigators followed the case for the following day, and they were able to recover an envelope that belongs to the deceased. The envelope contains notebook and some copies of air tickets that was thrown at a football field around Bakote. Then another bag of him was also discovered at a street in Bakote, which contains his passports, ID cards, and ATM cards, and so on. And that tells the investigators that people who have done this crime must be within this vicinity. And so this calls for intensifying patrols around the beach and also around Bakote. And that really paid off, and so some suspects were arrested. They were taken through a series of interviews and interrogations until the police were able to arrest the principal suspect and also his accomplice. 3 other people who also joined in the attack also were also arrested as well. And the murder weapon also was also recovered, plus all the very important evidential materials relating to the matter. So they are being charged now as we speak, and they are being arraigned before the court as well. As we move away from that, then a day or two, another incident happened again. That happened at the Bruford Beach. I'm sure you are aware of it as well, where another individual was stabbed. In fact, what we gathered so far from the preliminaries was such that the boy was fighting with a friend of him, this principal suspect. According to him, the boy was fighting with another person, and so he joined in to take part of his friend. And so that resulted to him stabbing this boy with a pair of scissors. And then he ran away from the scene, and so also the same thing happened. The police quickly investigated, and they were able to arrest both of them. What happened was the issue of mob justice that happened following that case, which we definitely are concerned with as well. We want to add voice to let people understand that the police are on top of the issues, and cases like this are no joke for the police. That's why we swiftly always act to ensure that people who are perpetrators are arrested and investigated and evidence gathered to put them before the court, so that the rule of law will take its course, justice will take its course. Individual perpetrators will also face justice as well, as quick as possible. But this also calls for us to caution people, even though sometimes these issues raise angers and sentiments and emotions. We definitely understand that, but we want people to exercise restraint and patience, so that allow justice to take its course, allow the rule of law and its processes to continue, so that the laws that we have put in place to deal with this kind of situation in a peaceful and harmonious coexistence will take their course, and then the individuals will be dealt with accordingly.
Interesting, and it's good that you have, informed us some of these very fortunate incidents that happened that led to the loss of lives of very young Gambians, which are very regrettable and unfortunate as well. And like you said, this, of course, in a way, would trigger some unnecessary reactions from the public, and from leading to mob justice and all that. And of course, eventually, like it happened, and of course, it's very concerning to the police. And again, it's good to remind the people, especially the young ones, in whatever might happen or the case might be. It's always important, like you said, to allow the law to take its course, but no one should take the law into their own hands.
Very well. Like, in fact, we have done a program here on mob justice some time ago, and this were some of the issues we were raising. But importantly, we need to re-echo this because I don't know where it is the democracy, the concept or the misconception of democracy that made people to think that when things happen, they should just be emotional and act according to their temperaments, and so that brings us also into other situations again. And that's why even in this incident, we have about 14 people that are arrested by the police for attacking and vandalizing property belonging to the General Bojang, because they believe the boy is from his home, and so they went in there unlawfully, vandalized vehicles and properties there as well. So they are also under police custody, and they will also be prosecuted for that. So, which is why it's important for us to exercise restraint, because emotional as you are, if you act according to your emotion, it's like you're putting yourself into another trouble.
Absolutely.
Although already this other matter is ongoing, and this person has already committed this offense, and that one is being processed, but you also, because of your temperament or your emotions that you followed, and or your anger, you have also landed yourself into another trouble. So we want people to definitely exercise restraint and allow the justice process to take its course.
All right, maybe at this point, Mr. Piaro, probably we need to talk about probably the causes of this kind of incident in this country, because like I mentioned at the beginning, it's becoming too much again, so frequent in the country. And one may argue the police have been very proactive in doing their line of work and make sure that they will curb some of these kind of incidents. But here again, after some time, everybody thinks that the situation is under control. But again, it's popping up. It's happening again. Why do you think these young people, in particular, are more involved in such kind of incidents?
You see, all the time, our concern is to ensure that the root causes of these issues are being dealt with, because crime is a societal phenomenon, and as long as people are within a society, there's bound to be some form of crime. And definitely, if the security are able to win their way, there would have been no crime at all.
Absolutely.
But it happens that that might be a very difficult situation. But importantly, if you look at the dynamics of the crime trends in the Gambia, recently especially, pointing to the stabbing incidents and the killings that happen through these stabbings, you will realize that it calls for the Gambian society to re-interrogate itself, because our observations and our experience is such that it's young people, very, very young people that are involved in these stabbing incidents. Some 18, the oldest perhaps will be 18 years old, but you have some that are up to of like 15 years, 14 years, in fact, below that. So that calls for us to, we as a society need to go back to the drawing board, because we know drug is involved, because some of them, it's only after 2 days after you have them in detention that they will even realize what they have done because of the intoxication.
Which is very pathetic.
When you arrest them in the first instance, it's even difficult to interview them. So you have to allow them to cool off until the intoxications go off, then you can be able to interview them. So that tells you that serious drug usage and abuse is involved. Then also we know that we understand that young people like that are supposed to be school going, or they are into some skills training or some things like that. So you understand that parental guidance and care also is lacking a lot also. It's like here now you have people at 11 years, 12 years, and their parents are like, I can't do anything about this one. Sometimes even if you have them arrested and you call for the parents, say minor offenses, you call for parents to come to bail or secure their release, they will not show up. They will be like, I've not seen him for the past 1 month, or I've not seen him for the past 2 weeks or so, so I don't think I want to come over to the police station. So it calls for parents also to take responsibility. And perhaps society, you know, some time ago, if you look Gambia, you will realize that the community used to raise the child. everybody is part and parcel of raising the child. Everybody is contributing. You know, you get bitten by this person, you can't even go to report to the other person. That kind of communalism used to exist in the Gambia. But it looks like we're drifting away from that. And so that also is creating a lot of children on the street as well. And that's why we see a lot of them involved into these situations. And so that's another thing, really. So the discipline also, you see, the parenting and also the discipline as well.
This all goes down to the parental responsibility, like you said, and peer influence as well.
Exactly, peer
because
influence.
these are all contributions or probably the root causes of this kind of incidents.
You know, if they take drugs, most of the time they are having the seizures to cut the cannabis into pieces or so, or the small knives to treat the cannabis or some other drugs they're having. And so when they go into dispute during the view where they are, some minor dispute, some minor arguments, because they are intoxicated at the time, so they will use these small arms that they are having to quickly use against each other. So that's like a one-on-one violence issues happening within the ghetto or within their midst. So it calls for us to definitely, as a society, go back to the drawing board and ensure that we go back to basics. Ensure that some time ago the way the discipline was, perhaps let's find new or innovative ways of doing those things.
Absolutely. I know before we talk about prevention, just listening to how you explain maybe some of the causes, I mean, and the roles that parents need to play in developing or grooming or molding this the youth, I should say, and this have to start at the family level. And there, of course, because sometimes, you know, when these young people go out there, have their friends who normally influence them to get to some issues that might lead you to do things like this. But then maybe we talk about the role of the police in this entire process, or when such kind of things happen. How would the police do to make sure that they handle such kind of cases before we talk about the medications? Or does this come as a challenge again for the police to deal with kind of issues, especially if parents are not willing to come forward, you know, in maybe what, like you said, to take up responsibilities?
You know, the police being law enforcement, we also have a deterrence component, that's prevention component of what we do as well. That's why we do this kind of programs to talk to the general public about the existence of these situations and find ways of sensitizing people so that people can prevent and, you know, deter that perhaps people who are conscious enough to understand what we talk about to be able to serve as deterrents for them to be involved in any of these situations. That is one thing that we do, because preventing crime is one of our fundamental responsibility also. And so that's why we try as much as possible to reach out to people using the mass media, which is why we also keep commending the iAfrica TV also. There's also a great deal of community policing as well to help prevent others from getting into this kind of situation. But also we have to deal with the cases as well, which is why we intervene, arrest individual suspects or perpetrators, prosecute them as well in the courts, so that they will also get the retribution that they deserve, or perhaps after they have been prosecuted and sentenced, then they are taken to the correctional facilities, so that at the end of the day they can reform and get back to become better people within society. So these are all layers of roles that we play within this whole situation. But I must point out something which is very important. The notion that police should discipline people's kids for them is very rife among people in the Gambia. Okay, if you cannot be disciplined at home, you'll be disciplined on the streets by the police. Well, really, I don't think we do disciplining.
I think it's not unfortunate
because that's
that
very
people
difficult.
Are,
it's very difficult to discipline somebody's children or somebody's child, because the role of the police is to enforce law, and so these laws are very well stipulated, and it's very clear what is needed to be done at what point in time. So it's not like, okay, this is Lamin's child, so I as a police officer should be there for Lamin to ensure that the child is raised. That's not my job really. So, but parents need to take that responsibility to raise their children, discipline them. Of course, police officers are also individuals, and they live within communities, and they also contribute their fathers, their brothers, their uncles, and so on and so forth. And so that communal responsibility is of course there. But the job of the policeman as a law enforcement officer is to deal with the law, apply the law, enforce the law, and things like that. So we want to call on parents to take responsibility.
Absolutely, that's a great one. And maybe at this juncture, I need to remind you that if you are just joining us, you are watching the Police or Talk Show right here on Africa TV, and we are here on every Tuesday from 6 p.m. local time to 7 p.m. to talk about security matters in the country and you know, deal with other related police activities in the country as well. And today we are talking about community stabbing or the frequent stabbing incidents that are happening in the country and which have becoming more or less a concern for everyone. Again, at some point it was happening, we were here talking about it, and thank God it yielded result because it have died down somehow. But again, of recent, like the PRO have just highlighted you of, several cases that happened. So we should all be very much careful and be vigilant as well. And the parents in particular have a great deal to play in this. And in a moment we should also declare the lines open, but also switch into the local language. But you talk about court matters, and that is a very fundamental area that I also want us to discuss about, because in sometimes people will argue again that the police will arrest somebody and then after a while he's been taken to the courts and then he'll be released or granted a bail and all that. You go there and commit a heinous crime somehow, and barely 2-3 weeks after you are seen against walking free on the streets.
Very well.
People might be concerned, what's happening? Is the police doing their job? How does, these things normally happen? You get us understand.
This is why it is important for us to understand the criminal justice system, which is the police, the judiciary, and the correctional facility, that's the prison. And so each of these institutions have a point to start and a point to stop. And say, for example, the police, we are in the law enforcement front. We arrest according to the laws, we investigate, we gather the evidence, and then we prosecute the offender or the perpetrator at the courts. And once the person is convicted, the sentencing guidelines, the sentencing limitations and so on are entirely in the hands of the court. That's the judiciary. And so we do not determine that. How long the person stays in jail, we don't determine that. How long the person, or what sort of punishment to be meted on that person, depending on the offense committed or the crime committed, we don't determine that. And so we want people to have more understanding of the system, so that there are offenses that are bailable offenses. Even at the police level, say police have 72 hours to detain somebody and investigate that person. If he commits an offense which is a bailable offense and the investigation is prolonged, it's taking more than 72 hours, obviously the police need to put that person on bail. And bail does not mean the case is done and dusted, which is something people need to understand also. A lot of times when you bail, people say, oh, you don't even inform us and you just go on and bail this person. But the bail is also according to the law, because it's the fundamental right of that person, that within 72 hours the person is supposed to be granted bail. And so that is also in line with the law. And so
because keeping that person in detention after the 72 hours also means the police are also breaching the,
of course, exactly. So which is why the police does not want to be found wanting of breaking the law in the application of the law. So that's why we definitely want people to understand the processes. But also there are offenses which are not bailable. And then you hear people, they say these things so easily. This person just killed, but tomorrow, the next day you will see him outside. And this, we keep using these rhetorics and this information within our misomo, so we fill our heads with it. And to a certain extent, that even contributes to the mob justice issues as well. But consciously, we need to understand that capital offenses that are not bailable, a person cannot get bail from the police. I mean, it would sound very funny for somebody to stab someone with a knife and kill this individual, get arrested by the police, tomorrow the police release that person or next day and get the person walking on the street. No. But if this person is put before the court and the court decides the sentencing as to how long he stays in jail, and after serving the sentence, the person is out, obviously that's the law also.
Yeah, that's the law again.
That's the law also.
Yeah, and that's what...
And that's not determined by the police.
Yeah, absolutely.
As well.
Yeah.
So we need to understand, and we want to implore on the public to do more research and more understanding of the processes so that will help us a lot. But also importantly, we call on people to come forward and willingly give witness testimonies and form part of evidences in criminal prosecutions, because that's a challenge for the police also. Because sometimes you arrest individuals, you bring them to the police station, because citizens have right to arrest. Everybody have right to arrest if you find somebody committing an offense, especially a criminal offense. So if you do that arrest and come to the police station, deliver this individual, you also have to write your witness statement, and many other people who are witnesses to that situation should also write their witness statements so that the police will have enough evidence to convict that person in court.
You see, as the saying goes, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So that's why we're here, wanting to make sure that all of us are informed in the best possible ways we can, to make sure that we would, know what we should do at the appropriate time, in helping to deal with some of these very troubling moments in our societies, because they are very, very concerning as well. So at this juncture, of course, I would say, you can call us and contribute if you want. The numbers, as always, 2323213 are the numbers you can call in and have your say and contributions as well. If you have any concern or queries that you want the PRO to clarify or address, probably you can call in. Of course, ask, he would really and happily do that for you, and for free, by the way, I have to say. Su ko defee rek mbokk yi ñu dal di continuer waxtaan bi comme ni ñu koy defee saa su ne, ñu yaatal ko tey kon ni ma ko waxee woon ci ndorte bi, te ñu ngi waxtaan li nga xamante ne mooy li am solo ci jamono ji, mooy parce que nag ñu ngi gisati lu doy waar luy xew ci community bi, mooy ci gox-goxaat yi, ci niñ dëkkee jamante bi, nit ñi yaa ngi gaañu ñàkk seen bakkan ci loolu. Piaro joxe na ay incident yi nga xamante ne xew na, loolu lañ nekk di waxtaanee tey. Su ko defee ñu ànd ak Piaro mu gën a leeral ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci yenn yi nga xamante ne waxtaan nañ ko ci angale, waaye tamit ñu wax rek ku bugg a call pour bugg a bokk ci waxtaan bi, mun ngeen jaar ci line si, mu ngi doon si screen bi 2323213 fi ngeen mun a jaar pour joxe seen contribution, seen xalaat, wala li ngeen munta yokka ci programme bi, dañ koo rafetlu lool pour déggee ci yéen tamit. Su ko defee Piaro ñuy waxtaan li nga xamante ne nekkul lu bees ci programme bi, ñu ko waxtaane am na jamono bi nga xamante ne waxtaan nañ ko fii ba sant yàlla, mun nañu wax ne juróon na li nga xamante ne mooy jàmm bu rëy ci réew mi, waaye tamit dafa mel ni lu ñu doon waxtaane mu ngi ñëwaat, mooy jamante bi, surtout xale yi ñoom ñoo ci gën a bëri. ñi yasee nit ñi am na ñi nga xamante ñu ngi cee ñàkk seen bakken, mu nekk lu doy waar. Lan lañ ci mën a jàpp ci li nga xamante mooy ci ay xew-xew yi nga xamante xew na bu yàggul ba tax ñu bari ñu ngi tiitagum jamono ji tamit ci mbir mi nu moo demee.
Yeah, before even I go into that, I just want to highlight some few tips that we can use in preventing actually. This does not necessarily mean to say, okay, people are not supposed to go out at night, but it's good that we know what time we go out, especially during odd hours, and which area we visit. It's good to avoid lonely streets, areas that are definitely very lonely, and it's going to be difficult if you need assistance. To get assistance will be difficult during the night or during odd hours. It's good for people to avoid those areas. It doesn't necessarily mean don't go out and take care of your business. Of course, people can go out and take care of their business. But if you know there's an area which is very lonely and it could be used as a hideout for these criminals and so on, please, it's good that you try avoid such kind of areas. The second tip that we like to share also is for people to not expose their valuables. Sometimes the way you expose your valuables also attracts criminal opportunists to get to you to react in such a way, because we have what we call the crime triangle. So you have a skilled criminal, you have an opportunity, and the individual is going to explore that opportunity to get to you. So it's important that sometimes you see people with mobile phones, because these kids now, a small thing like a mobile phone, they can just get out, try to take it forcefully from you and stab you. So it's good that even the phone that you have, you keep it such that you do not attract attention on the phone.
Okay.
And the other thing is to do is people with vehicles. You know, when you lock your vehicle, raise the glasses, lock the vehicle properly. But also, if you have valuables inside the vehicle, maybe you put them under the chair or you remove them and go with them. Because the next person that just peep through your glasses and see the nice laptop lying down on the chair, or the expensive phone.
Great. I think that's a good one, but I understand we have a first caller on the line. Let's bring the person on. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, where are you calling us from, and who's on the line, please?
I'm calling from Bakau.
Okay.
Yes, basically I want to contribute to the program.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, just to highlight that this is a very important program, and also to state that in as much as you have the police, people should also be very concerned that their personal security is something they need to prioritize.
Indeed.
In the sense that you cannot have police everywhere. And again, the people within the communities also have to be vigilant. That is why we have the police have been talking about this community policing issue. That everybody's police and the police and the community, you've been hearing this notion. It is not said in a vacuum. It is said for a reason. And one of the reasons is that people need to be vigilant and help the police in providing security for them. So if you have a child at home and he keeps going out all the time, you give him weapons. Or anytime he goes, you are not even concerned what time he goes, what time he comes, and what he goes with.
Absolutely.
So obviously, you cannot expect the police to see people in the street and begin to search them, whether they have knives or not, or they have cutlasses.
Sure.
Because as far as I know, having a knife is not a crime. Anybody can have a knife. But what you do with it is what becomes an issue. But looking at those kids, having knives inside their pockets all the time in their bags, you have to be suspicious. And the parents have to make sure that they inculcate this attitude of responsibility in the kids, so that the kids will understand that certain things cannot be done irresponsible. Going to the beaches, going to communities, going to nightclubs, yes, you can do that, but you must do some of these things responsibly. And the parents who have to understand that they have a role to play. It's not just the police. The police cannot be everywhere.
Absolutely.
So these are some of the things that we have to understand, that, you know, policing a community is not just the responsibility of the police. People have to also be concerned, people have to be wary, people have to be suspicious about certain happenings within their environment. They take care of their personal security. Their personal security is their individual responsibility.
Indeed.
So this is just what I wanted to contribute, and I think it's important that I just throw this out there so that we all can brainstorm over it and see where we have gone wrong and how we can actually re-strategize and see that we have a crime-free society.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you indeed. A fantastic contribution there from him, and we greatly appreciate it, and you know, you can equally do the same. Piero, a very good one.
I think it's important because he mentioned something that's very critical, and that is for people to be conscious of their personal security, which is why we are mentioning the tips to personal security. If you are vigilant and observant of some of these issues that we are mentioning, that will go a long way in preventing or helping you to stay away from issues like this. I want to just add the fact that even though people are free to go to the beach to enjoy themselves and so on, we also want to share the fact that it's good that you stay in close proximity with a particular group, such that if in case you needed help, it's just going to be easily you can call and people will get to where you are and then they can intervene. But if you look at our beach sites also, there are certain areas that are very way apart from people. If you go so far away around that area, if people come out and they try to attack you.
Yeah, we have another caller on the line. Let's bring the caller on. Hello, caller. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
waaw dama bëgg a contribuer seen programme.
jërëjëf kàlla ak foo ñoo koole.
man maa ngi tudd Thiam maa ngi koole Jàng.
oh ok ñu ngi lay déglu.
waaye sama man doon yoroo si ndee naan bi waaye waxal ceeb bi ne yëpp yow na gars yi de dal self control support bi man loolu laa lay am pour wax men xam naa yëpp naka la fa demee te gars yi ñu toog foofu noonu seetaan ñëpp fii laa nekk di
ok all right jërëjëf thank you. Yes, you were talking about something very important.
Yeah, like I said, it's important, of course. At the beach side, that we have the tourism security unit, and they provide security around the beach. They patrol the beach. They also have checkpoints to check on people who goes to the boats, to the beach. If they highly suspect that you are carrying something, they even stop and search at certain instances, even though some people consider that as harassment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go and enjoy myself, and then you buy But that's all because they want to ensure that people go to the beach without these small arms in their pockets, because they could use this against other people. But importantly also, for the sake of personal security, like the caller mentioned, if you are within the beach area, ensure that you are at close proximity with a particular group. Not necessarily you know them also, but for your personal safety. In case anything happens, you can easily call for help, and then assistance will be given. But if you stay so far away from people, at a certain place when they come out, before you shout for help or before anybody hears, it takes a long time, and so they could harm you in a certain way.
Great one.
Obviously, this does not necessarily mean that people are not free, they cannot go about, but we are talking about prevention, so definitely people need to...
Yeah, and of course the first caller have said it, people also have to own up, have to take up their responsibilities, and I think that's very important. It's good that you touched on that prevention. I wanted us to conclude with it, but it's good you have also, bring it on. But time is not on our side. Let's bring it quickly summarize in the local language as well.
Amadou, comme ni ko nekkee di wax rek, dafa mel ni am na solo trop pour ñu xool si wàllum tafaar yi, especially tafaarum jamante paaka bi, parce que gis nañ ne fan yile am na ñaari case yoo xam ne dafa am ay ndaw yoo xam ne dañ am jam ñeneen ñi paaka, su ko defee nag loolu am na solo trop pour ñu gestu si parce que loolu lu doy waaru la yéen lu bari nit yi dañ dee wax léegi reyante bi bari na waaye foog ñu toog tamit ñu xool reyante yi naka lañ dee xewee ak ñan ñoo ko dee def ak lu tax ñu ko dee def parce que soo gisee crime tafaar dafa bari te dafa uute tamit so waaye nag doo xoolee lu ñoo am nii mooy suñ ndaw yi ñoo xam ne xale yoo xam ne ñu ngi am ay 14 years 15 years or less than 18 years or little above 18 years yoo xam ne sax yaa ngi yaakaar ne dañ war a nekk si school bi di jàng wala ñu si métier bi di jàng dara loo xam ne dina leen jëriñ si ëllëg si waaye ñu ngi si beach yi wala ñu si club yi wala ñu si street bi di jamante paaka foofu noonu so lu ko gën lu dee tax sax lu gën a bari sax soo xoolee da ngaa suñ expérience mooy da ngaa gis ne ñu bari ñu ko dee def dañ dee laal drogue su ko defee nag suñ ko laalee ñaareel mbir fa nekk soo ko amee problème la parce que soo ko laalee doo am ànd ak sa sago waaye soo ko amut tamit da nga koo dee bëgg a am te mun ngaa def lu nekk mun ngaa jël mobile jàmbur mun ngaa jël tafaar yooyu noonu def tafaar yooyu noonu pour nga am xaalis pour nga dem jënda nga am drogue bi so loolu moo tax drogue bi daf si am solo torop waaye tamit waajur yi tamit foog ñu jël seen matuwaay ak seen taxawaay tamit pour ñu gis ne xale yi yar nañ leen teg leen ci kaw yoon parce que xale yi yoo xam ne ay 11 years 12 years nga dégg waajur yi ne ak kii moom kay mënaluma ko
mënatuma si moom dara
soo leen téye si police station bi sax nga ne xam nga loi bi su fekkee soo ñëwee si xale yi loi bi nu mu traité xale yi daf leen jox ay cër tamit su ko defee statement yi xale bi sax soo ko buggee jël at the police level foog nga am waajur wala koo xam ne dafa toog pour mu déglu lu xale bi di wax
ñoo
fekkee ko daanaka waaye nag ñoom soo leen oowee sax si téléphone ñu ne la ne kii mut na weer gisuñ ko wala mun na ñaari semaine gisuñ ko so loo leen si mun def leen loolu noonu so dafa mel ni moo tax maa ngi wax saa yu nekk dégg la police yi am nañ droit am nañ loi pour doxal waaye nekkuñ ne ñun ñooy yar doomi jàmbur xëy na loolu comme ni ma ko waxee woon police yi ñu ngi si kër yi ñoom tamit ay papa leen ay nijaay leen ay mag leen ak yooyu noonu waaye nag pour ne dañoo taxaw si seen liggéey di gis ne ñoom ñooy yar doomi jàmbur loolu dafa jafe trop.
te loolu lu ci doy waar léegi-léeg nga dégg ci kër yi nga dégg waajur yi di wax ne boo nanguut ñu yar la boo demee ci mbedd bi mbedd bi yar la wala police yar la te loolu mu nekk xale bi bu màggee ak loolu moo ko waajuram di ko wax dafay am ni moo mel bi li nga xamante ne dafa dem ba moom day jàpp ne sax kenn mënatu ci moom dara. tax
keroog maa ngi ko doon waxtaane sax dafa am ku ma ne. waaye xale yi waaye police yi sax contribute nañ si ñàkk a yari xale yi. parce que child right yi ñu fi ñëw fii. soo laalee sa doom rek ñu dem tëj la police ak
waaw yooyu moom. waaw child right ak yooyu waaw.
foog ñu understand tamit. loi yooyu lan lañ ëmba. lan lañ wax bul wax ne rek child right ñu ne bu kenn yar sa doom déedéet loolu loi bi waxul loolu noonu doo xoolee dafa am ay métit yoo xam ne waajur yi dañ ko dee def seen doom loi dafa ñëw pour teral loolu noonu nga ne sa doom bi danga suspect ne daf dee jël nga gis ñoo xam ne dañ dee jël xale bi téye loo xam bi dugal ko si safara ñu ne
dañ koy lakka
soo lakkee sa loxo ëllëg si doo jël alalu jàmbur dégg nga wax ne xëy na éene bi mooy pour gis ne xale bi mu jaaw waaye téye loxo bi dugal ko si safara lakka ko foofu wala ñeneen ñi dañ ne takka xale yi ñu ne comme que yow su ma génnee da ngay génn di dem dox yi ji kon nga takka ko nga tëj ko si néeg bi doo ko jox lekka ceen ko foofu noonu doo ko jox lekka doo ko jox dara loolu abuse la loolu du ak dóor yu métti yoo xam ne sax da nga dóor xale bi ba yaramam bi nàcc parce que gis nañ ñun police lañ nekk dañ dee gis cases yi dañ dee expérience yi am na waajur koo xam ne doon na xale bi ba kooku xom mu foog ne daf doon daanal boppam nii rek waaye eventually kooku foofu la gaañuwee tamit so abuse yooyu noonu loolu la loi bi bugg a teral waaye nag loi bi waxut ne bul yar sa doom foog nga taxaw si place boobu noonu nga yar doom bi nga won ko yoon nga teete ko nga su ko defee mu nekk koo xam ne daf laa ngëriñ si ëllëg
absolument loolu dafa am solo parce que tamit léegi ñeneen ñi nuñ dee yaree comme ni nga ko waxee dafay doy waar ay dóor ay lakka ak yu mel loolu moom xale bi tamit am na li nga xamante ne loi moo ko may su nekkul loi sax xel saa mu mun a nàng yenn yi ñu koy yenn métital yi ñu ko def xale loolu dafa doy waar waaye ci loolu Piaro ñu ñëw ci taxawaay police bi yaa ngi ko doon wax ñu bari dañuy wax ne police yi contribute nañ lu tax xale yi yaruwuñ ak yu mel noonu waaye ci yenn jëfin yi nga xamante ne mu ngi am ci biir dëkk bi jamante yi ak reyante bi ban taxawaay la ci police war a def wala am ba gis ne loolu dañ ko gën a gis ñu gis mu wàññeeku bu fi mënta jógee ko parce que tamit ñu wax rek dégg crime moom wala yenn yi nga xamante ne ñu ngi koo waxtaane pour mu jógee fi completely loolu dafay jafe wala du mun a nekk parce que nuñ dëkkee la ak nit doomi aadama nu mel waaye wàññi ko teg ay sart ak ay doxalin yi nga xamante ne dina tax ku koy def da ngay xalaat ndaw yi tamit xam ne police bi mu ngi fi dañ fi nekk pour aar leen tamit moytu yenn jëfin yi nga xamante ne dañ ko def waaye surtout ci wàllum drogue bi parce que loolu tamit dafa ñu bari am nañ ci problème.
jërëjëf Amadou loolu moo tax mu am solo trop pour ñu rafetlu liggéey Africa TV parce que waxtaan bi sax am na si taxawaay lu am solo pour gis ne nit yooyu ñuy toppa programme yu mel ni nga gis ne ñoom dinañ fagaru parce que fagaru ñu ne moo gën faju su ko defee nag di nga gis ne soo déggee waxtaan yi nii ngay jànga si su ko defee nag yow xëy na loolu dina tax ne yow doo dugga si problème yu ñoo wax nii su ko defee nag loolu am na solo trop police yi am nañ responsibility pour prevent mooy gis ne waxtaanee ak askan wi yeete leen diisoo ak ñoom su ko defee nag ñu prevent ñu avoid problème yu façon yi nii loolu si benn suñ responsibility loolu moo tax ñu ngi def waxtaan yi nii su ko defee nag ku ko dégg wow nekkul ne rek pour ñëw nettali lu xewoon démba wala barki démba waaye li am solo mooy pour ñu jànga si su ko defee tey yow mi ko dégga yow mi dayga programme bi yow soo génn ëllëg nga xam naka ngay génne ñaareel bi mooy su dara xewee parce que ñu try nañ pour prevent ko waaye prévention xëy na mënuloo prevent yëpp comme ni nga ko waxee foo tafaar yi pocket of incidents yi ñu xew waaye suñ xewee nag li police responsibility mooy gis ne investigate nañ case yooyu noonu ñoo xam ne ñooy tafaarkat yi ñu téye leen ñu teg leen si kaw yoon su ko defee ñu yóbbu leen si àttekaay bi ATK bi teg leen ab duma boo xam ne loolu lañ disaaf si liñ def foofu noonu su ko defee loolu tamit bokk na si liggéeyi police am na solo pour nit yi understand tamit ne liggéey police dañ soxla support askan bi tamit parce que cerne yu ñoo am loolu la ñoo teg si ATK bi si bari nit yi ne wane xam nga soo téyee nit nga yóbbu ko police te ëllëg rek nga gis ko muy génn di dem su ko defee ngay gis ñoo xam ne su dara xewee dañoo mer dañoo ekkati seen xol yi su ko defee nag ñuy def yoo xam ne lu dul
yu ñaaw la di warut a am
waaw su ko defee sax second case boo xam ne moo xewoon Brufut gis nañ ñu dem si kër ñoom général Bojang di dem di yaxa
di bugg a fayeeku
di dem
bugg a fayal seen bopp
di jël luwaa si seen loxo loolu moo tax ñu bugg a woon askan wi ñooñu am nañ fa fukk ak ñeneenti nit ñoo xam ne arrest nañ leen ba fu ñoo wax ni sax ñu si loxo police yi te ñooñu tamit dina leen teg si kanami ATK bi parce que dañ jël luwaa si seen loxo dem yaxa alali jàmbur te loolu am na ak luwaa
waaw loolu mu nekk lu doy waar parce que li ma doon bëgg a wax rek mooy comme li nga wax ne nit ñi dañoo dem ba toll fi nga xamante ne comme ni nga ko waxee dañoo bëgg a fajal seen bopp te loolu dafay nekk lu doy waar waxoon nañ ko fii lu munta xew am na li nga xamante ne foog nit ki tamit am dal ànd ak sago xam ne lu ci munta am luwa am na ci yoon foog nit ñi toog ñu bàyyi muñ yoon muñ boobu na dafa am solo parce que waaw
sarta yi ñoo fa nekk te sarta yooyu noonu muñ rek a tax ngay toppa sarta yooyu noonu ba nga gis ne kii duma bu mu war a am si ATK bi mu am ko foofu noonu parce que yoon foo yooyu jaaree yoon Amadou soo xoolee Gambia Police Force ñu ngi am police station yu bari jógee Banjul ba Basse bés bu nekk dafa am juróom nit ñuy dem si police station bu nekk di joxe foofu seen report su fekkee woon amul benn police station ku nekk da nga bugg a fajal sa boppam ku nekk da nga bugg a toppatoo sa affaire ku la def dara nga dem yow it nga fajal ko sa bopp kon imagine bankaano society la ñu
parce que yàlla bi ñu indi fii sax dafa indi ay sarta teg waaw tax na
te nit yi dañuy def loo xam ne non àndut ak waaw waaye ñu ngi fi ba léegi
waaw absolument léegi mu xam ne lii nga def li sax nga xam ne moom bu naroon a fajal boppam dana am nu mu doon demee waaw waaye nag moom mi nga xamante ne moom moo saña du def na moom am na patient waaye surtout nit ki nag
of course so loolu moo tax mu am solo trop pour foog ñu am muñ bi ñu toppa sarta yi su ko defee nag ñu def tafaar yi defkati tafaar yi ñoom tamit ñu am seen wàlla si ATK parce que loi yi ñu teral foofu noonu loi yi ñu fa pour ñu gis ne kii ku def lu bon si ni duma bu mu war a am na ko
waaw ma bëgg a laajte dara parce que ku ñëw tooñ nit yow kuñ tooñ nga bëgg a react at that moment bëgg a fajal sa bopp est-ce que yow boo defee dara mun ngaa def dara si fayu boobu noonu ba yow tamit xëj na luñ la tooñoon sax du feeñati bu fekkee ne taxaw ngeen ci kanami lu waa yow da ngay ñàkk right bi nga amoon parce que ni nga buggee fajal sa bopp la
Amadou naa la wax typical exemple mooy case buñ musoon a am nga am koo xam ne ñu ne daf doon sàcca essence 20 litre gallon la dee feesal muy yóbbu soo keroog borom garage la daal so garage bi ñu ebal ay apprentice ñu fanaan foofu noonu so kooku bu mu ñëwee ñu téye ko ñu takka ko ñu oo seen boss mu ñëw boss bi bu mu ñëwee léegi ñoom ñëpp ñu téye kooku noonu jël ay di ko dóor bañ kontaan ñu yóbbu ko police bu ko police si recevé si ñoom ñu jël seen statement ñu process case bi ñu yóbbu kooku lopitaan parce que yëg nañ ne mu ngi am ak gaañu nuñ ko yóbbee lopitaan balaa bët sedd kooku gaañu si lopitaan so ñoom it police yi oo leen ñu leen ñëw kaay leen si case bu ngeen reportoon fii lañ leen soxla ñu ñëw ñu téye leen ñoom ñëpp ñu charge leen murder so xoolal ñoom dañ téye kii parce que dafa jël 20 litres of fuel loolu mooy seen problème ñoom waaye léegi mu ngi nii doon nañ kooku ba rey ko léegi ñoom ñu ngi nii mu toon mu ëlbatiku ñoom ñu ngi leen di yóbbu di leen prosecute for murder
parce que dañ bëgg a fayal seen bopp moo nañ koo téye ba pare yóbbu ko ci police bi bu boobaa sax xëy na ñoom li ñu doon fayit ne mënoon leen koy fajal waaye loolu mënta am far ñoom ñu def li nga xamante ne mooy
gis nga loolu mooy wisdom loi bi loolu mooy wisdom loi bi parce que soo xoolee loi bi foog that is what we call proportionality mooy nit lu mu def ak punishment lu mu am foog ñu méngoo yow 20 litres nga saaja wala do bañ la rey parce que because of 20 liters.
ak bucket jël bucket
20 liters bu nit ñi dem di sata 20 liters gallon. That is justified. Waxuma loolu. Waaye proportionality bi is not justified.
Daf si am solo.
Dafi am solo top te loi loolu la dee xool. Waaye yow soo bëggee jël sa xol nga duma kooku noonu nga punish ko ni la neexee balaa nga yëg kay ne kooku dee na ba pare.
Well mu ngi noonu moo tax day am solo ñuy waxtaan léegi suñu ay biir si suñu biir ñu waxtaan dafay am solo ñuy gindeeku wante ci yu mel nii moo tax programme bi mu jóg pour ñu waxtaan ci yu mel nii te incha allah comme niñ ko dooree ñu yàgg di ko def noonu lañ continuer di ko def diggante Eye Africa TV ak Gambia Police Force ñu continuer di waxtaan ak Gambien si ci lépp li nga xamante ne mu ngay xew ci réew mi ci wàllum sécurité wàllu kaaraange nu ñu mën a dekkee suñu biir ci jàmm yenn jafe-jafe yenn problème yi nga xamante ne mu ngay xew ci réew mi ñu fexe nuñ koy wàññee donte ne sax comme Piaro nu mu ko wane dana jafe lool pour ñu jëlee fee yenn fitna yi yenn problème yi nga xamante ne mu ngay xew ci community bi ci dëkkaan yi waaye nañ ko mun a wàññi raise awareness bi ñu xam lu ñu war a def bu fekkee ne tooñ neen la wala yow am na ku daanu sa kaw am na li nga xamante sax ñoo ko def donte ne dañ la tooñ loolu dafay am solo bu baax a baax xam naa ne nag waxtu buñ ñu ciraloon jeex si na su ko defee dañuy bàyyi Piaro mu tàggatoo incha allah ben next week nañ continuer am naa ne topic bi ndax lu yaatu la ñu refel tamit ñu baax a baax ñi nga xamante ne call nañ joxe seen contribution loolu am na solo su ko defee Piaro I think our time is almost
jërëjëf Amadou dafa mel ni time bi te tamit engrais bi xaw naa bari te so xëy na suñ ñëwee next week dañoo continuer rek dugal si local language bi ñu tiri ko so waaye nag di jox nit yi ndax dox daje rek ba next week incha allah su ko defee suñ ñëwee rek ñu continuer si waxtaan bi
jërëjëf thank you so much Superintendent Lamin Jaye moom moo yore kaddu Gambia Police Force ñu àndoon ak moom ci jotaay bi comme niñ ko yàgga di defee bu programme bi dooree ba léegi mu nekk nag li am solo ndax saa yu néew rek def di am lu bari li nga xamante ne def ko leeral ci programme bi te tamit ñu bari den see gis seen bopp feedback bi def te positif ci ñu bari ñu ngi leen di gërëm ci loolu tamit ci encouragement bi di leen wax jërë ngeen jëf su ko defee mbokk yi ñu gërëm leen sant leen ci ni ngeen di ànd ak Eye Africa TV saa su ne suñu ay programme waaye surtout tamit ci programme bi mu nekk programme bu am solo ñu jox leen rendez-vous mooy dig daje incha allah next talaata bu ñëw ci same time same place ñu ñëw waxtaan ci continuer waxtaan bi ñu gën koo yaatal bu baax a baax di leen wax jërë ngeen jëfati ci safoo bi ak kóolute bi bye bye ba beneen yoon incha allah.
Welcome to Staples, the office superstore for all your office needs, office furnitures, office equipment, office kitchenwares, office stationery. Get all you need for your workplace. Office desks, chairs, workstation, conference table, computers, printers, monitors, sofas, filing cabinets, water dispensers, microwaves, ovens, air coolers, and lots more. Staples, the best superstore in the Gambia.
Star GSM has new arrivals of home appliances with 2 years warranty and a promotion on 2-way gas cooker, gas or electric at a cost of $10,000, which used to be $17,000, and a deeper freezer $10,000, which used to be $15,000. Stand fans rechargeable and at least for 8 hours. Different stand freezers, deep freezers from 140 to 400 liters. Blenders, original flat screens from 32 inches to 65 inches. At Star GSM, their appliances are original, durable, modern, and energy saving. Star GSM also have sports shoes, Timberland, and Scandals. Original perfumes from India, Churai and Andy Churai from Dubai. Star GSM offer its customers 25% discount on all smartphones. simple phones and HD receivers for national security forces, police, paramilitary, immigration, armed forces, customs, navy, etc. They also have maize powder, dugula, at $900 per bag or $100 per kilo. Roast now and visit Star GSM at Westfield, opposite OJ Junction, Talindi Market, Tabokoto Traffic Light, or call 700-2494. Star GSM Electronics.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details, are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3- and 4-bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Old Yundum.
CAF Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and present in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office and retail towers in the Gambia called TAF Twins. The TAF Twins is located in the heart of the Kanifing institutional area and 10 minutes drive away from Banjul. TAF Twins is designed to have 5 floors of office spaces ranging from 50 square meters to over 1,000 square meters with 2 elevators, central air conditioning, 24 hours electricity and water supply, with the ground floor reserved for banking, supermarket, restaurant and coffee shop. For your bookings and reservations, please call now on 376-2333 or 776-2333. Thank you.
A transport to the other side of the world. A cargo worth millions, about 10,000 cars, and gigantic machines.
What the worst thing is going to happen, somebody gets hurt, somebody gets in between.
With every vehicle, the risk increases. Less space, less time to react.
Most of the time, the problem is the height.
No other ship of its kind can carry so many cars and heavy stuff on a journey through the narrowest waterways on Earth.
You're nervous. Really, you're nervous. But you always have to keep calm.
A real mega